Hello, everyone. This is another Black Conservative. I'm Ryan Bolin. Thank you all for joining me. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, where do I even start with this? I know you guys have already heard already, but in Chicago, hundreds of teenagers went wilding, okay, in downtown Chicago. I think 2 days after it was announced that Chicago would host the Democratic National Convention, and 10 days, according to the Breitbart News article, after Chicago decided to elect, I think Brandon Johnson is his name, the new progressive Democratic mayor who believes in defunding the police. This happened just right after this. All of a sudden, hundreds, you'll see the video. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen the video. Hundreds of these kids just started going crazy, running up on people, assaulting people. One particular portion of the article states that a man was assaulted while he was inside his vehicle. He ended up getting rushed to the hospital. These kids were jumping on buses, and it was just a mass chaos. It looked demonic. It was terrifying. This is what happened in downtown Chicago. And I made a video about this, well, not exactly about this subject, but I made a video a few weeks ago in reference to the idea of Chicago residents or Chicagoans, whatever way you want to call them. No offense to anyone who's from Chicago, okay? But replacing Laura Lightfoot with a basically just as bad, if not a worse, mayor than Laura Lightfoot. You want to elect a mayor that believes in defunding the police and who made a statement about these kids wilding. You know what his statement was? This is this man's statement. Read the article in Breitbart News. His response to this is, and I'm going to paraphrase his words, these children don't have anything to do. They're victims of corporations who do not want to share paying taxes. In other words, his response was, the reason why these kids are acting a DAM fool, okay, is because these major corporations won't pay their taxes, which leads to poverty, which leads to acts of violence. Forget about personal responsibility. Forget about, hey, you know what? Parents need to be parents and teach these children how to act. Forget about all of that. It's not the children's fault. It's not the parents' fault. It's not taking personal responsibility for your actions. No, that's not what it is. It's these doggone corporations that don't want to pay their fair share of taxes, which is a lie. Don't want to pay their fair share of taxes, which leads to poverty, which leads these children to doing what they're doing. This is what people gotta understand about progressive Democrats. Whenever you see the term progressive in there, watch out. That is a lie, people. That's just a soft way of putting it so that you will be more accepting of what the agenda is that they have in store for you. These people's worldview is destructive. And here's another thing too, and I hate to say this, but this new mayor, is a black man. This contradicts the narrative that states that, well, you know what, the reason why there's so much crime in these cities and all this kind of bad things is happening in cities and the schools are failing and so forth. There's black kids are failing in school and there's crime in these cities and so forth. This is what this prevailing narrative states is that the reason for that is because we don't have anyone to represent us in office. If we get some black brothers and some black sisters in there to represent us, they'll make sure that we pass some SATs and they'll make sure that crime is off the street. What the HELL is you on? Are you on crack? Are you on crack? The man, if you see him, is blacker than I am. And this is the main situation anyway throughout this country. Most of the mayors in these cities with this kind of crime, high crime level, is black mayors. Guess what ethnicity my mayor is? I won't even say my mayor. I say the mayor of Cleveland because he's none of my mayor. I respect his position, but I don't respect the worldview. He's a progressive Democrat, and he's blacker than I am. And crime is rising in this city. Police don't know what to do, almost. People don't know what to do. Downtown Cleveland is like a mess. Tower City is like a mess. So you got to keep your head on a swivel. Every time when you go downtown Cleveland, you got to keep your head on a swivel seriously, man, because you don't know what somebody gonna do. That's how bad it has gotten downtown. That's how bad it is getting in the city of Cleveland. And it's been this way for quite some time. Why? Because we got these, part of the reason is because we have these no good progressive Democrats being voted into positions of authority and power. It kills me and it bothers me when people scream and holler, fart and poot about crime and evil and violence and all this other kind of stuff, and you go right behind and vote for a politician that goes soft on crime. You go right behind and vote for a politician that believes that people who are committing crimes are victims of poverty and oppression, and they just crying out. You go right behind them and vote for them. Wake up and smell the coffee, man. I want to scream so much. I understand what the other brother said. I forget his name, but he was cussing. He was doing what I want to do. In my natural fleshly part, I want to do that. But being a preacher and a Christian, I can't do that. It would look bad. But I'm getting so sick and tired of these progressive Democrats. What are we progressing to? What is the city of Chicago going to progress to? Now that you can replace one Hellcat with another Hellcat, how do you think that's going to work out? How do you think that's going to work out? It's ridiculous how we let these people brainwash us with all this nonsense about progressivism and trying to bring a better world and bring equality and all this. If being equal means not punishing crime, then we don't need equality. What we need to do is put leaders in office that believe that parents need to be good parents, that believe that if you commit crimes, you need to do the time. Petting these people, slapping these kids on the wrist and saying you just a kid, you live in poverty, which half the time is not the case. Because when you compare this so-called poverty among these young people today to a lot of third world country young people, there is no poverty. Okay, a lot of the young people in third world countries look at what we have, what we consider to be poverty. They look at it as a lap of luxury. That's not my opinion. That's a fact. Read Thomas Sowell's writings on that, and he's a well-known economist. I'll leave it at that. So you got to see. But we keep putting these people in office. You get what you vote for. You get what you vote for. It's ridiculous how we keep letting this stuff happen in our cities. We can scream and holler and get upset all day. It don't mean anything if you're going to keep voting for people who have these kind of worldviews. And whether or not these people's worldviews, or whether or not rather that these people that have these worldviews, these progressive Democrats that have these worldviews are sincere or not. Some of them I believe are sincere, but some I don't believe are sincere. Some I believe that they're money hungry. You got people like George Soros paying them huge sums of money to fracture our society and communities and turn it into a socialist country. And you got people like that are hungry for money. They don't care. They'll push any kind of worldview as long as they can get that money. Money is their God. Money is their God. Republican or Democrat, money is their God. But right now, it's these progressive Democrats. Right now, it's the progressive Democrats. And then on the side of the Republicans, a lot of the Republicans are not saying anything because some of them are bought and sold as well. But a lot of them are not saying anything about this high crime too because they don't want to be called racist. They don't want to be called racist because the left has the power over the mainstream media. And people have been I hate to say it, but people have been so dumbed down by watching the mainstream media that that's all they're going to believe. They're under mind control. They're brainwashed. That's all they're going to believe. Yeah, these doggone Republicans ain't nothing but a bunch of racists. They can clearly see that these kids are wilding, causing all kinds of destruction, causing all kinds of harm. They can clearly see that with their own eyes. And yet, if a Republican Especially if he's white. Oh my God, forbid if he's white or she's white. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's the end of the world. If they say anything against it and say this needs to be punished, this needs to be taken care of, we can't be doing this type of things, these people need to be held responsible for what they're doing, oh, you're racist. People think that kind of nonsense because the mainstream media reporters and journalists pump that in their head. They're under mind control. It's sad, but that's what the deal is. I always say this, and I'm going to keep saying it. The mainstream media is poison. The mainstream media is poison. The mainstream media is poison. If you're going to watch them, mix it up. I'm going to say that to the day I go and be with the Lord. Because I know in my heart it's true. You want to watch that trash, mix it up. Mix it up so you can get other options. Because they're lying to you. They're twisting you. How in the world, going back to Chicago, man, how in the world can those people vote for a man that's going to be what? I mean, what did he say? What kind of rhetoric did he use to convince the Chicagoans to vote for him? I don't understand. What kind of rhetoric did he use? Are they that blind? Are they that messed up in the head that they couldn't see that this man's worldviews are going to be even more detrimental? Basically, you're saying you all for defunding the police. So how do you think that's going to work? How do you think that's going to work? If he starts defunding the police, taking money that's supposed to go to the police to empower them to deal with this kind of high crime rate that was already one of the highest, that is already one of the highest in the country, and divert those funds to stuff that he considers to be, what these kids need. Okay, you take those funds and you put them in recreation centers. You know what them kids gonna do because they don't have no good upbringing at home? Because the family structure has been corrupted and destroyed ever since the 1960s so-called counterculture revolution, which was in part designed to destroy the family. But anyway, I digress. Even if he puts that money into these recreation centers, you know what's going to happen? They're going to tear the recreation centers up. I know that for a personal experience because I see it all the time here in Cleveland. And anybody watching this video that lives in Cleveland, you know I'm telling the truth. Get your mind out of the gutter. Get your mind out the hole or something. I don't believe you. You know I'm telling the truth. You know I'm telling the truth. You know it. They will tear it up. Talking about something defunding the police. But then the first thing we want to do is call the police when there's a problem. Then I see people say this all the time where I work at. These police ain't no good. These security ain't no good. But they'd be the first one when Black Lives Matter or one of these progressive politicians come up here and start yicking and yakking about defunding the police. They'd be the first ones talking about, yeah, we need to get rid of these police. We need to do this. We need to do that. Wait a minute. Make up your mind what you want to do, fool. I said it. I said you're a fool. Make up your mind what you want to do. You either want the police or you don't want the police. You either want to deal with crime or you don't want to deal with crime. Which one is it? Make up your mind what you're going to do. Because right now, we're in a hellhole. And we're going to stay in the hellhole in part if we keep voting for these fools. If we keep voting for these idiots. You vote for idiots, you're going to get idiotic reactions. There's no other way with it. No other way around it. Jesus said if the blind leads the blind, both shall fall in the ditch. You got blind progressive politicians, progressive Democrats, leading the blind folks. Yeah, you're right. We need to defund the police. Yeah, you're right. We live in an oppressed society, and I'm in poverty, so I can go and steal and cheat and kill and do whatever I need to because I'm oppressed. I'm really oppressed. It's not my choice that I went and raped that person. It's not my choice that I went inside that supermarket and took all their food out of it. It's not my choice. I'm oppressed. Oh, I know it's a lot of jobs out there. It's a lot of jobs I can get, paying $16, $17, $18 an hour. I can make a decent living. Oh, it's a lot of jobs out there. I know that, but I'm oppressed. My oppression is preventing me from going to get a job. Plenty of them out there, but my oppression is preventing me from doing that. I know that, but I'm oppressed. The progressives told me I'm oppressed. You're about as dumb as 8 boxes of rocks, you believe that. And I'm saying it, and I'm taking it back. I know people might not like it, but this stuff has to stop. And I'm going to expose it. You act dumb, you're going to be called dumb. The Bible says you're a fool. You believe that foolishness. It's one point I can understand you be a person just not conscious, but come on, man. Certain parts of your mind has to click in and say, well, I'm seeing this, but I'm getting this. I'm seeing this, but I'm getting this. I'm seeing this, but I'm getting this. What is it? What is there some cognitive dissonance in your brain working or something where you can't hold two contradictory beliefs? Maybe that's what it is. Because you're gonna have to make up your mind sooner or later what you're gonna do. We can't keep letting this kind of stuff go on. We can't keep voting for these idiots. We got to make a decision. Whether people call us racist or not. I know people call me racist, a coon and all that. Look, I ain't new at this. People call me all kinds of names. I don't care. I'm standing on what I believe. People don't like it. They don't have to watch my videos. They don't have to listen to my commentary. You ain't got to deal with it. Because I don't need you. Truth of the matter is, I need the Lord. I don't need nobody. Well, I don't need you. It's just that simple. I'm going to stand on what I believe to be truth, man. This is the truth. We collectively are in part responsible for the people we put in office. And then cry when we have stuff like this in Chicago happen. I know it's in Chicago, and you have situations like this happening all over the country. I know. But the point is that we are in part responsible for that. We just can't let it go. We just can't say, oh, forget it. I ain't going to say anything. We can't do that. We got to make a decision. So I just had to say that, man. I mean, look, this is just crazy. It's just crazy. And like I said, you guys check that video out, man. You will see what I'm talking about. It's absolutely crazy. What do you guys think? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe to my channel. God bless you all, and see you again.